If you want to become financially independent before 30, you need to stop treating money like it's just something you spend. Money is freedom. Money is options. Money is peace. And no, wanting financial freedom does not make you materialistic. It makes you smart. Because let's be honest for a second. A lot of people spend their 20s looking successful instead of actually becoming successful. They want the aesthetic, the outfits, the expensive dinners, the luxury vacations, the soft life content. But behind the scenes, debt, stress, no savings, no plan, no freedom. Meanwhile, the women who actually become financially independent early, they move differently. They understand something most people don't. Looking rich and being rich are two completely different lifestyles. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to become financially independent before 30. Not fake rich, not social media rich, real rich. The kind of rich where you can leave a toxic situation without panicking. The kind where an emergency doesn't destroy your life. The kind where your bills are paid, your future is funded, and your peace is protected. Because that's the goal. Not just money, freedom. First, you need to understand what financial independence actually means. A lot of people think financial independence means being a millionaire overnight. It doesn't. Financial independence simply means you are no longer trapped financially. You have enough savings, investments, and income to support yourself without constantly stressing about survival. And honestly, that changes everything. Because when you're financially dependent on other people, you tolerate things you should never tolerate. Bad jobs, bad relationships, bad treatment. Money affects confidence more than people want to admit. When you know you can take care of yourself, you walk differently. You speak differently. You stop begging for permission to live your life. Now here's the first thing you need to do. Increase your income aggressively. This is where so many people stay stuck. They spend all their time trying to save tiny amounts of money, instead of figuring out how to earn more. Listen carefully. You cannot build massive freedom on minimum effort. You need skills that pay. That might mean learning sales, learning marketing, content creation, tech skills, freelancing, starting an online business, asking for raises, switching careers. Because one thing about inflation, it does not care about your comfort zone. And I need women especially to stop feeling guilty about wanting money. You are allowed to want wealth. You are allowed to want luxury, security, comfort, freedom. There is nothing empowering about struggling forever. And honestly, the money doesn't matter advice usually comes from people who already have it. Now here's a mistake that destroys people financially in their 20s. Lifestyle inflation. This is when your income goes up, and suddenly your spending goes even higher. You get a raise and immediately upgrade your entire life. New apartment, new car, more shopping, more expensive habits, and suddenly you're still broke. Just with better lighting. One of the biggest financial flexes is being able to afford things and still choosing not to buy them. That's power. Real wealth is not about looking expensive. It's about owning your time. And some of the wealthiest people live way simpler than social media would have you believe. Because financially smart people understand delayed gratification. They know short-term discipline creates long-term freedom. Let's talk about social media for a second. Because honestly, a lot of financial insecurity starts there. You open your phone and suddenly everybody looks rich. Designer bags, perfect apartments, luxury trips, daily brunches at 11 a.m. somehow. Meanwhile, you're sitting there wondering if you're behind in life. But here's the truth nobody says out loud. A lot of people are financing their lifestyle with debt, not wealth. Credit cards, loans, buy now, pay later, overdrafts. Please do not compare your real life to someone else's highlight reel. The goal is not to impress strangers online. The goal is to build a life that feels peaceful offline. Now let's talk about investing, because this is where wealth actually starts building. And I know investing sounds intimidating at first, but honestly, not investing is more dangerous. If your money only sits in a savings account, inflation slowly reduces its value every single year. Rich people know this. That's why they invest early and consistently. And no, you do not need thousands of dollars to start. That's one of the biggest myths. You can start small. The amount matters less in the beginning than the habit itself. Even investing $50 or $100 consistently teaches you discipline and builds momentum. Because wealth is usually built slowly, then suddenly. Compound interest rewards consistency, not perfection. And this is important. You do not need to know everything about money before you start. A lot of people stay stuck in research mode, reading, watching videos, overthinking. Meanwhile, somebody with less knowledge but more action is already building wealth. Do not let perfectionism keep you broke. Another thing people don't talk about enough? Emergency funds. Having savings changes the way you move through life. Because financial stress is exhausting. When every unexpected expense feels like a crisis, you live in survival mode. But when you have savings, you breathe differently, you stop panicking over every little thing. And honestly, peace of mind is underrated. Save enough to cover at least a few months of living expenses. Not because you expect disaster, but because life happens. Now let's talk about discipline, because discipline is what actually changes your life. Motivation disappears fast. Discipline stays. There will be moments where saving money feels boring. Moments where everybody around you is spending recklessly. Moments where success feels too slow. Stay focused anyway, because most people quit too early. Wealth is built through repeated smart decisions over time. That's it. Sometimes it looks like budgeting, staying home, investing instead of spending, learning instead of partying, saying no when other people say yes. Temporary sacrifice creates long-term freedom. And let's talk about something important. Stop attaching your self-worth to your bank account. Being broke temporarily does not mean you'll stay broke forever. A lot of successful women started with nothing. No rich family, no connections, no perfect opportunities, just consistency and the willingness to learn. Your habits matter more than your starting point. Also, please stop trying to build a luxury lifestyle before building a stable foundation. This is the bad bitch trap. People think empowerment means spending recklessly. No. Real bad bitch energy is having savings, having investments, having options, being financially unshakable. That's the energy, not credit card debt and financial anxiety. Now here's what you should focus on if you truly want financial independence before 30. Increase your income. Avoid unnecessary debt. Build an emergency fund. Invest consistently. Learn financial literacy. Stop overspending to impress people. And most importantly, believe wealth is possible for you. Because a lot of people sabotage themselves before they even begin. They think, I'll never make that much. I'm bad with money. Rich people are different. No, they're not. Most wealthy people simply learned better financial habits earlier. And let me tell you something powerful. The moment you become financially independent, your entire life changes. You stop making decisions from desperation. You stop staying in situations that make you unhappy because you can't afford to leave. You stop settling. That's why financial freedom matters. It protects your choices. Imagine being 29 years old. Your bills are paid. Your savings are growing. Your investments are working in the background. You're not stressed every payday. You're not trapped. That is success. Not just looking successful online. Actually feeling secure in real life. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Your 20s are not just for spending. They are for building skills, building income, building discipline, building freedom. And the earlier you start, the easier your future becomes. Because one day, you will either thank yourself for learning money early, or wish you started sooner. She wins. If this video helped you, subscribe to She Wins for more finance, career, and mindset content that helps you level up calmly, confidently, and unapologetically. And comment below, what's one financial goal you're working on right now? I'll see you next time. Keep winning.